is Sofia. I'm a researcher at Nova University, Lisbon. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the odor issue in Portugal that is very different from what we are seeing here today around the world, because there are no odor legislation or regulation or guidelines. So odors are, in Portugal, a new environmental challenge for a sustainable management. I don't know if you can see the slides.
They are not moving. You're still at the first one.
Not moving.
I don't know why. Because I'm sharing my window.
You should share the full screen. It would be better.
Yes, but I'm not able to do that. I don't know why.
Do we have one screen or two screens?
I have one screen. You're not seeing the slides moving, aren't you? I'm so sorry.
This is only the first one till now.
Yeah. I don't know why, because I'm sharing my screen.
The whole screen?
Yeah.
Okay, we are at the second.
Now it moved.
It moved now.
Yeah. We are at the second one.
Yes. My God, it has a lot of delay.
1 minute of lag, right?
Yes, yes. I'm so sorry about that. So, as I was saying, in Portugal, odors are an environmental challenge because it involves different environmental management, it involves new skills and innovative solutions, renewed partnerships between industrial operators, universities, citizens. It can and should lead to collaborative networks to have a full environmental response. In Portugal, environmental odors don't have no strict standards as they are for pollutants regarding air quality. Odor management is carried out arbitrarily and without guidance, and even so, the Portuguese Environmental Agency, when renewing the environmental licenses, requests the compliance of odor management plans and mitigation measures. So, the odor assessment is made of continuous monitoring and actions of local and national authorities. However, the social component of odor measurement is somehow neglected because they are not taking in account the impacts of the odors on the well-being of the population, especially in residential areas close to potential emission sources. And this, in some cases, lead to legal disputes and prejudice the public health and the quality of life. The perception of unpleasant odors by citizens leads to discomfort and a sense of distrust, particularly when people doesn't understand if there's health risks to take in account. And this reaction is bigger when the odor is unfamiliar and the emission source is unfamiliar, and the reports of odor are reported by numerous individuals in the regional area, and this can result in public concern and social alarm, and that is the case of Lisbon metropolitan area in 2024 and in this year in 2025. As you will see, the spread of odors under similar conditions is not a familiar event for the population, while, for example, long-distance transport of airborne particles from sawdust is. So, from January to March 2024, sorry. There were several days in which the odor type of sour olive was detected in a large range of Lisbon metropolitan area, causing several complaints and arousing curiosity and concern among the population. Following the widespread reports from the citizens, the issue gained some media attention, resulting in over 20 news items across newspaper, radio, and television. The main impacts described by the citizens were olfactory discomfort, limitations on outdoor activities, and the persistent presence of unpleasant odors. So these were unusual events in the couple of days, and the first time that the citizens report this kind of odor. So there were a big buzz on social media due to the concerns about the detection of this type of odor and its possible association with the health issues. And our university was contacted by several newspapers and by local citizens to bring a little matter on these odor issues, and to investigate the specific incidents. So we asked the sensitive receptors for collaboration to identify the potential odor source. The citizens were making comments on news articles and on social media forums, identifying the locations where they perceived this type of odor. And then we also received several emails and phone calls at the university from people concerned about the situation and wanted to collaborate with us. This was also an opportunity to evaluate the impact and the exposure of the sensitive receptors to this odor using a collaborative methodology. So we had more than 300 odor complaints, and these maps show the location where the citizen perceived the odor. We can observe more than 40 different locations where the odor was felt, and so we thought, considering the intensity, the duration, the area of the reports, there was a high probability that the emission source could be from the olive pomace processing plants located in Alentejo, which is quite a long distance. But since the olive harvesting season had been concluded and the byproducts were undergoing some processing, there was a high likelihood that the olive pomace processing plants in these 3 locations in Lower Alentejo were responsible for the odorous emissions, despite this significant distance from the affected areas. So, to verify this hypothesis, we did an experimental modeling of the trajectory for the 27th of January of 2024. That was one of the days with more odor complaints. And then we compared this with the meteorological parameters, namely the speeds and wind direction. And then we replicate this methodology for the other days of the other episodes. And as you can see, the predominant winds from southeast had a greater influence on the perception of odors in the Lisbon metropolitan area. The pomace, the olive pomace processing plants has so much visible long-range plums that we had to check the air quality levels because it may have some pollutants associated, such as particulate matter. But as you can see here, the air quality monitoring stations from the national network were green, even the ones closer to Alentejo region, which indicates that there were no air quality problems. And as you can see, the Portuguese Environmental Agency had to do a statement regarding this odor issue, and the statement was that there were no air quality problem in that region. But this is an example for the concentration of the pollutant measured by the air quality monitoring station network. For the 1st of January 2024 and until the 28th of February 2024. So as you can see here, the odor episodes are marked at green, and as we can see that there were no correlation between the air quality that was measured in this network of monitoring stations and the other episodes that were occurring. And this is why I think the Portuguese Environmental Agency don't take the odor matter seriously. But even though these results for air quality are good, odor is perceived and is causing discomfort and nuisance in the population. And sometimes this situation may arise from some associated health problems like headaches or the inconvenience of doing some external activities. So this impact should be assessed and taken on consideration. A couple of days after this first odor events, our team went to the field, to the site of the potential emission sources to carry out another monitoring at the fence of each plant with a field olfactometer. This was a day in the calendar only to test our hypothesis, but unfortunately not with the same unusual meteorological conditions that were present in the other events, namely the winds, the southeast wind. But still, we had the ability to assess which plants had the potential bigger impact in the detection of odors by the sensitive receptors. As you can see, the major impact was from the one situated in Odivelas. Here you can see some photos taken that day in a considerable distance from the plants that were fenced monitoring. So the first one is with a higher level of intensity measured, Odivelas, and the second one is in Alvito in Feira do Alentejo also. It is notable the deposition of the odorous plum over a long distance, as well as long residence time in the atmosphere. Besides the odor events that took place in 2024, there were others in February and March of 2025. Besides, the time of the year was more or less the same on the 2 years, but the common characteristics that occurred were great atmospheric stability, strong thermal inversion, weak atmospheric dispersion with abnormally low mixer layer, and weak wind from the southeast quadrant. When normally the predominant winds in Lisbon metropolitan area are from the north.
Sophia, you should speed up a little bit because we are late. And the conclusion, please.
Yeah. I'm finishing. So this year, the odor issue gained another attention, and we were invited to national news to explain the population the situation, as well as there were several journalistic investigations carried out on the olive pomace processing industry in the Alentejo region. So this is for us a greater advance on this matter. And the outputs of these other episodes were, there were some meetings with the university and a couple of Portuguese legislative bodies, namely the Coordination and Regional Development Commission of Lisbon and Alentejo and the General Inspectorate of Agriculture, Sea and Environment and Special Planning. There was a meeting with the university and one of the olive pomace processing plants from Odivelas. But for now, in Portugal, these events are considered unusual and a nuisance. Although this fact, the Portuguese Environmental Agency is requesting other management plans as a condition of the renewal of the environmental licenses. So that was it. Thank you for your attention.